Very good morning, students. Welcome back to Science 1 online class. Today, let me explain reflection of light. A mirror reflects our face. A still water body like a pond reflects the scenery around it. When we see our face in the mirror, we see the light rays from our face bouncing off the surface of the mirror. How the rays of the light are reflected. Take a plain mirror, cover it with black paper, cut a small slit. If you shine off light on the mirror from a torchlight or sunlight, you will get a small ray of light. We can use this to study the properties of light. Place a blank white sheet on a level ground out in the open. Choose a place where partly the sheets get sunlight and partly it is in shadow. Hold the mirror with the slit facing the sun. You can see a straight ray of light reflected from the slit on the paper. Hold another mirror to reflect this ray. Observe well. The light falling on the mirror is called as incident ray, and the light reflected is called reflected ray. Did you understand, students? The light falling on the mirror is called as incident ray, and the light reflected is called reflected ray. Can you make out relationship between the angle of incident ray and the angle of reflected ray? Yes, we can make. Before that, we have to know terms used in reflection of light. Incident ray. A ray of light striking surface, or else the ray of light that falls on the surface of the reflection material is called incident ray. Reflected ray. The ray of light that comes from the point when the incident ray falls on the reflection material. Point of incidence. The point of which our incident ray strikes the reflecting surface is the point of incidence. The point of which our incident ray strikes the reflecting surface is the point of incidence. Then normal. An imaginary line drawn 90 degree perpendicular. See here. This is the normal here we have. The perpendicular line drawn from the point of incidence to the plane of reflecting surface is called normal. An imaginary line drawn 90 degree, that is perpendicular to the plane of reflecting surface. So here what comes? Plane of reflecting surface. Here plane surface or is plane of reflecting surface. Angle of incidence. The angle formed between the incident ray and the normal is angle of incidence. Angle between the incident ray and normal is called angle of incidence. It is denoted by I. Angle of reflection. The angle formed between the reflected ray and the normal is angle of reflection. It is denoted by R. So angle of incidence we can denote by I, angle of reflection we can denote by R. So here what comes? Angle between incident ray and normal. So here also normal should come. Next, laws of reflection. This is a way we can connect the relationship between incident ray and the reflected ray. So through these laws of reflection. So what is the first law? It says the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. The angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. The second point, the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence lie on the same plane. Lie on the same plane. Next, types of reflection. On a mirror, we can see our image but not on the wall. Why? Both surface reflects a light. Only because the reflected light comes to our eyes, we are able to see it. If the wall was not reflecting light, then we cannot see it. We saw earlier that the light reflects off surfaces in a very predictable manner in accordance with the laws of reflection. The laws of reflection holds good for all surfaces irrespective of the shape. Vertical surfaces, angled surfaces and even over the curved surfaces. The laws of reflection holds good as long as we can draw the normal perpendicular to the surface at the point can be drawn. The angle of incidence at that point will be equal to angle of reflection. The laws of reflection is always observed regardless of the orientation of the surface. If the surface is smooth and flat, all points on it have the normal in the same direction. Therefore, a set of parallel rays striking the surface will be reflected at an angle, but the rays themselves will still remain parallel to each other. However, consider a surface which is not smooth, such as the surface of a wall. What happens when the light ray hits the rough surface? Roughness of the wall means that each individual ray meets a surface which has a different orientation. The diagram below we can depict each point of instance is shown here. In each case, the law of reflection is followed, resulting in 5 reflected rays labeled A dash, B dash, C dash and E dash. While the incident ray were parallel to each other, the reflected rays are going in different directions. The result is that the rays of light are incident upon the surface in a concentrated bundle and are diffused upon reflection. So simply we can conclude, students, types of reflection can be classified into 2: regular reflection and diffused reflection. Here we can clarify with the regular reflection or specular reflection. Here we can clarify with diffused reflection. Next one is types of beam of light. Generally, light is not a single ray but a bundle of rays which are called as beam of light. A light beam can be a bundle of parallel rays, convergent rays or divergent rays. Let us look at the light coming from the sun. The rays of sunlight are parallel. Often the headlight of car gives parallel rays. However, look at the rays of light coming out of a candle. Light rays go in all directions from the candle fire. These rays are divergent. Light rays from a flashlight is also divergent. Using lenses, we can converge light rays. Using a lens, you can focus sunlight at a point. So this is what we are making the light rays to converge. Interaction of light with matter. Take a piece of clear glass, a paper and a metal sheet. Shine a light from one side of each object and see if the light penetrates on the other side. Readily, we can see light enters and comes out of the other end of clear glass. Whereas light is bit dim through a paper. Light does not pass through metal sheet. Depending upon permeability, materials can be classified into three categories, such as transparent materials, translucent materials, and opaque materials. Materials that allow light to pass through completely are known as transparent material. Translucent material. Objects that allow light to pass through partially are called translucent material. Opaque material. Materials that are not able to allow light to pass through are called opaque material. I hope you are understood, students. Thank you.